Hello there, welcome back to my channel. This is Natasha here with a New Dawn Recovery Coaching. I'm an addiction recovery coach. I've been in business for almost 14 years. I'm also a narcissistic abuse victims coach and advocate. To learn more about me or to book sessions with me one-on-one privately, please visit my website. It's www.anewdawnrecoverycoaching.org. So for today's topic for the video, it is going to be what being married to and being around a narcissist did to me personally. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I will start with the negatives and then I can move on to the positives because there's a bit of both there. The first negative was a complete loss of self-esteem and self-worth. Because narcissists engage in putting you down constantly, telling you what a horrible person you are, how useless you are, how stupid you are, and so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. Almost daily. After a while, you start to question yourself and you really start to believe those lies that they're feeding you. Because one of the favorite things that someone with MPD will do is engages in those put downs. That way they can start feeling better about themselves. So that would be at the top of my list. Number two would be blaming myself for things I didn't do and for the relationship not working. That is another game that someone with narcissistic personality disorder will play. They never take responsibility for anything. They will blame you for everything under the sun, for the relationship not working, of course. And, you know, just to give you an example, it was my fault that I was abandoned at birth. According to my ex-husband, the narc, it was my fault that, I had found myself in such a predicament, that I had no family, that I was an orphan. Surely everybody, hated me. Everybody who ever came in contact with me cannot stand me, which is not true, of course, but this is the type of narrative that they'll engage in on a daily basis. Because they want to just simply destroy you. That's their goal. They want to reduce you to nothing, and they will not stop until that's accomplished. Luckily with me, it almost happened, but it did not, because at some point I decided to fight back and claim my life back, which I did. Number three, when I met him, I was using drugs and alcohol, especially alcohol, a lot of it, throughout the whole marriage, throughout the whole relationship. Of course, I continued using. But when the abuse started, I started considerably increasing my alcohol use. It became, probably twice as much, I want to say. And it was difficult to hide to my child, who my son was at the time about 5-6 years old. And then, it continued after that as he was growing up, and it was very difficult to hide it from him. I did the best I could. When he was very young, he didn't really realize, but when he got a little bit older, when kids get older, they kind of pick up on things a lot more. They're very intuitive. Number four, suicidal thoughts. That kind of comes with the territory when you're abused, on a regular basis and told that you are just basically nothing, that you are nothing, that you'll never amount to anything. Not only do you start believing it, but you get to a point, because I was using, and obviously for those who don't know, but I'm sure a lot of people do know that Using alcohol makes you very depressed in most cases. So alcohol use, the abuse, feeling depressed, it all led to me being so depressed that I seriously had started having suicidal thoughts. I never attempted, but I seriously thought about it. Never carried it through, but it did cross my mind for a while, for a long while. And that's really sad. But that was one of the things one of the negatives. And then number 5, which is atrocious, is parental alienation. You know, he alienated my son from me. And that, of course, is a tactic that a lot of narcissists like to engage in. And that is terrible. Feeding my own child lies about me that he sometimes believed, not always, but sometimes believed, in an attempt to separate us, in an attempt to alienate us from one another. And unfortunately today, I'm still very much estranged from him. We have a very strained relationship. Well, we don't have a relationship at all right now. And I'm hoping that things turn around at some point. I can only hope, and I pray for that every day, of course, because I adore my son. Let's move on to the positives now. One of the positives was that I learned to communicate my feelings and freely express myself. I had trouble doing that when I met my ex narcissistic husband. I had trouble, you know, just opening up and speaking freely and just communicating my feelings openly and freely. So he taught me how to do that because he insisted in me doing it. He noticed that I had trouble doing it, and he just said, you know, you have to learn to sit down and talk face to face with somebody and just tell the other person how you feel. So he was instrumental in me learning how to do that. So ironically, I don't thank him for anything else, but I thank him for that. So that was one of the positives. And it also taught me to have strong boundaries with people, to stand up for myself and never tolerate any kind of abuse again. I can proudly say that today I'm at a point where I will never let anybody abuse me again. Never. No family member, nobody. It could be a stranger out there in the street. I will never tolerate abuse, either verbal, physical, emotional, from anyone ever again. And I stand up for myself. And that is one of the positives. And it's a huge one. So there was a lot of pain throughout this whole experience with him, but I'm glad to say that some positive came out of it as well. It was not all bad. But of course it's a tragedy to be abused like that, and I don't wish that on anyone, which is why I advocate for people today, and I want to help them the best I can through my experiences. So that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please share it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow my channel, so please, I am asking for your support. Much appreciated. Until next time, take care, be good, be safe. Namaste. Bye now.